Cool.
Live-ish. Like 10 seconds.
Live-ish.
10 seconds behind. Something like
Facebook says we're live.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I see us on there right now.
Great success.
Great success. Do people know that we did well? I mean, we did say on Sunday we were gonna
Hmm.
go live on Tuesday, so
Yeah, we're
yeah,
somewhat random these days. We just kind of do what we want. Want to do a
yeah.
show? We just show up. Here comes a show. Hold on to your butts.
Mm, yeah. So what are we doing?
I got my press set up.
Let's see.
Uh, uh, uh. There's that Lee Classic Cast press. And what you don't see is behind there. I don't know if I can get to it. I've got one of those powder dropper automatic RCBS Chargemaster 3000s.
Nice.
And that's going to run my powder. And I don't know. I'm going to make up a bunch of 6.5 Creedmoor, maybe some 308. What I forgot was the case lube. So I'm only going to run like 100 rounds. So I'm probably not going to go get like the proper stuff. I'm probably going to find something around the house. I don't have like lanolin or any like super fancy case lube. So probably what I'm going to do is, I don't know, try a bunch of different stuff. I've already tried a couple different things. I was looking online and I saw a couple of different options, what people were using. Someone mentioned KY jelly, and it works. Not great. Very messy. Gets in your fingers. Gets everywhere, really. Tried some white lithium grease. That worked all right. Tried some. I'm gonna try a bunch of other stuff. You know what didn't work, or what was just like awful?
Mm.
Um, carbon spray. What is that? Carbon graphite spray.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, that stuff is
oh, it's horrible.
horrible.
That
I
didn't
don't
do
even know what.
anything.
There must be one specific intended purpose for that product,
Uh huh.
and I've yet to discover because it's awful. Like
It's awful for everything.
everything. It gets
Yeah.
on stuff and it stains it permanently. It's more like paint. Like,
I've heard that it's good for guns if like you're gonna go into like -40 weather, use graphite, and I've tried it and
but
it's
the dry powder
terrible.
stuff,
It's terrible.
yeah, the powdered graphite maybe,
Mm,
but the liquid stuff, no.
terrible.
I had a can of it once. I used it for one thing, and it was like on the shelf. You can just sit there with your other,
Forever.
yeah, with the other misfit toys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that can of stuff I've got is like 10 years old, and every time I use it, I'm like, oh. What else? What else am I gonna try? I'm gonna try some dish soap because I saw that. What else? What else do you think I should try?
You know me, man. Like smarten up, go on Amazon and get the right stuff. I'm not about the experiment.
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, then get some ivory soap
Yeah,
and just rub a little ivory soap on it.
yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, dish soap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
No, no,
else?
not just soap.
Oh, bar soap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna try some of that. My wife's got some like coconut like stuff that you like rub on yourself or something like that. I'm gonna try that too. Coconut stuff. See
I
what
don't know
works
about
this
no
case.
coconut stuff, but I know that when you shoot carbon arrows into archery butts made out of 10 test material, they stick to the carbon fiber.
Hmm.
The 10 test material sticks to the carbon fiber shaft, and they're actually difficult. It's like they're glued in. They're difficult to remove. So we apply a little bit of arrow lube to the end of the shaft. So you put it on the tip, and it comes out of a tight butt a lot easier. And I know these sound like innuendos, but this is just,
It's just
and
science. It's
don't
just.
tear off the cock feather while you're pulling your shaft out of the
Hmm.
butt.
Hmm.
Also important.
Good point. Yep.
Anyway, some cheap guys who didn't want to buy Aero Lube reportedly would take a bar of ivory soap and rub it on the shaft, and it would act as a lube.
Hmm.
So I'm curious as to whether or not a little bit of soap on your 308 case will get it in and out of the die. I predict you're going to destroy a die by the time
I
this is
think
all
that
done.
if you got soap on the shaft, it would sting in the butt. Like that's what I think would happen. Yeah. No.
Boss, it's never been reported, but I mean, your logic is sound,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if you got it in your eye.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I don't think I'll just try to die. I think I'll, you know, find out really quickly which ones. Like the graphite I tried putting in there, it was like, nope, I ain't going nowhere. Let's pop
Hmm.
that. Let's pull this into reverse and try something else. But yeah, it'll be fun anyways. I didn't really find like a lot of really good resources other than the guys doing like the lanolin stuff. But I think they did that during times when it wasn't like you can't go, like you shouldn't go outside and go like hang out with all your buddies at the store. So
Hmm. Very true.
oh man, people are loving the butts and the, yeah. You tear out your cock feather, you don't know which end of the shaft is up really
Well, you
after
don't.
that.
That's right. You don't know which
Yeah,
way is up.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I actually
Anyways,
broke out
yeah.
the bow and shot it a couple of times in the basement not long ago, just two. That's all. Just because I had to do something.
I love archery is so nice and calming and quiet and
Oh, it's Zen, baby.
yeah, yeah. Actually, this would be a perfect time for it because you can go out into a park and shoot some your bow and arrow and just be like, "Don't come near me," and people already get the message.
Yep. Let them know who's running the hood.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Walk up and down the street with a compound bow. Set up. You looking like Rambo. What could go wrong?
Just in the park. Are the cops gonna come over? Sorry, keep your distance.
Yeah.
See
Parks are
those
closed.
arrows over
Remember?
there? This thing's good for 20 meters and
Easy. Yeah.
social distancing.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be shooting in the backyard if I can't go too many places. Like I said, right now our range is still open, so we're gonna use common sense rules.
Mm-hmm.
I know other ranges are like by appointment stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
That's what they're talking about doing at Chas by appointment, which should
yeah,
be all right. They're gonna have people. I think they're looking for volunteers for it right now. Which, given the state of the Alberta economy, there's gonna be some people with some time on their hands. So
right.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to just getting on there and cleaning it all up.
Mm.
Um, as long as I don't have a meeting and my work is done, I'll be able to go during the week. But like, we're not allowed to. Teachers are now working from home.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming up with home learning for the kids to do, and so
Mm-hmm.
during the day we've got to be next to our email, available for stuff like that. We're attending meetings, so I can't just like, it's Wednesday, I'm taking a drive to Moncton. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you're supposed to do that anyway, but I literally can't. So but once June hits, things will be slowed right down, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there'll be days where I can go get the range cleaned up because we still got to put away SummerSlam from last year.
Yeah. Well, I'd imagine like your day ends at what 3:30 as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's usually what I do leading up to a match. I'll go back there 2, 3 evenings, get there by 4:30 or so, and start working.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey, Owen is watching.
We gotta have him
Owen,
on one of these days. Talk about like
yes. You want to
your
talk about
survival stuff.
prepping and food storage and homesteading and gardens, and he's the man to
Comfrey.
have on.
I think he's on
Comfrey. Geez, we
Comfrey.
haven't had a good Comfrey chat in a long time.
Mm. You'll have to get someone else to do that because it combines two things that I care nothing about: gardening and prepping.
Jessica says, remember the 200-meter rule.
200 meter.
200 meter or 2 meter?
Mm, I don't know.
Uh,
Something about bows and households and stuff, maybe.
oh,
Discharge
that's
next to
what she's
households.
talking about. Yeah, and it's 100 now. Bows and shotguns are 100. Um, bows and shotguns are 100. Something is 200, and rifles, centerfire rifles are 400. That's a New Brunswick specific rule. So yeah, technically speaking, you're not allowed to shoot your bow and arrow in your backyard.
Hmm.
So
In Alberta, it's by municipality, but all the major municipalities have it like no discharge at all,
hmm,
which is unfortunate because that'd be nice to do at a park or something like that.
yep, for sure.
Like, what else? The kids aren't using them right now. They can't. They're all shut down.
Yeah. Yep. This is, yeah. The Bathurst Archery Club used to have an awesome facility. It was open 24 hours a day. It was in the basement of Knights of Columbus Hall. You could just come and go as you pleased. I actually practiced one day on Christmas because it was a training day for me in my training program. They would, yeah, they'd have to probably do by appointment too, or hang a sign on the door. There's already 3 people in here. Don't come in or
Mm.
something. Oh, yeah.
These are probably the nicest dies I own. Reading dies?
Oh, Reading is nice stuff.
Yeah.
I got the fancy Reading 308 seating die, and yeah, it's definitely my nicest die as well. It's got the micrometer on the top.
I got one of those for 308.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, but for the ammo I'm making, it's not gonna matter. I'm
right.
just gonna make blaster ammo. Maybe the 6.5 stuff I'll do nicer. I'll be more particular on, maybe I'll weigh the cases because I got a little bit of time on my hands right now. So I'll pull out the digital scale, weigh out the
Well, how could you
cases,
have
load
any
them.
more time than usual? You've been working from home for like almost a year now.
True, but my kids are here as well, and I can't really do anything on the weekends or weeknights, and there's no soccer, there's no
Right.
like a million other activities. There's just
They're not happening. Yeah.
work, slam fire,
Yeah.
video games, kid stuff.
Yep. Still haven't gotten into video games.
Mm.
My reloading has slowed down. My back was bothering me since it's been a week today
Hmm.
that I tweaked it, and so it an entire week pretty much of reloading lost. I maybe I did 300 rounds of 9 mil. I'd go down, do 100, walk away.
Mm.
Just before the back got too sore. So
Yeah, you might as well just leave it for a couple weeks and come back to it when you got
yeah,
time.
I'm gonna hit it tomorrow. I have to because I got a whole pile of RC stuff coming, and when that arrives, I'm not going to want to do any reloading. I don't want to build those kits and play with that stuff. So I've got to get all my reloading done before that arrives. So
Before you get
back
into that hobby, knee deep.
hard.
Yeah.
So like in IPSC, for example, you've got production optics, classic, standard, right? You got all those different
Hmm.
divisions.
Yeah.
When you go to a match, typically you can only shoot one division in a match. Sometimes some provinces will let you shoot in 2 different divisions if the match is small and they shoot
Hmm.
the same stages in the same day twice, and you know um, your second score is not supposed to count because you're really not supposed to shoot the same stage twice. If you're going to shoot it like with PCC, I think the IPSC Ontario said if you want to shoot it twice, you
Hmm.
got to shoot it pistol first and then you'll shoot at PCC. And that's fine because it's a completely different match. So I get that. But it's essentially a pistol match that they're allowing PCC shooters to participate in to use the stages. But on paper and in the scoring, it's 2 completely separate matches. It's a PCC match using those pistol stages. Some people still aren't getting that. So that's why you can do it with a PCC, but you're doing it second. In the hobby of RC racing, it's not the case. You can compete in several classes in the same day. They'll race the 2-wheel drive buggies in the morning, and then the 4-wheel drive buggies mid afternoon or mid morning, and then after lunch it'll be the stadium trucks and so on. Right.
Hmm.
So I'm set up right away. Already set up for 4 divisions. I got 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, stadium truck, and short course truck
You went from nowhere to competition ready in 4 different divisions.
in a week. Yeah. Now,
Seems
um,
seems like a lot.
yeah, but this is not my first go.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, RC was my first hobby. I started into RC when I was 13 years old and stayed into RC right until I graduated from university, moved home, and then got into breeding snakes in a big way. Had a snake room and a large collection. Then I picked up a bow and arrow, and then pretty much everybody else has caught up after that. So
Hmm.
I'm kind of a lot has changed. The technology around batteries and stuff has changed a lot with lipos, right? They
Yeah,
want you to actually charge your lipos, Adriel, in a lipo bag, which is made of Kevlar, because they catch fire a lot, and they don't want you to burn down the pit area at your local hobby track
they're
or
very
racetrack.
high density energy. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
But a
anyway,
Kevlar bag, that's interesting.
yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, but your phone's fine.
yeah.
Your phone is fine. Yeah, but do whatever you want to with that. It's also a lipo battery, and it's also a very high energy density.
Everything's lipo. Your phone, your
Yeah.
laptop, everything's lipo now.
Well, your laptop will be using. They'll be in cells, so they're a little bit more durable for hits and that kind of thing. But like lipo is usually in like a plastic bag, basically, and a
Yeah.
little
Well,
puncher on there, and
yeah.
she could light right up.
Well, the race packs that we use are contained in a hard plastic shell. Now, the drone packs and the little RC airplane packs, not so much. They're
Hmm.
exactly as you described. It looks like a bag, So,
Yeah. Cool. Well, hobbies. Gotta gotta do something. Your reloading setup, like, what's it look like that you're hurting your back? Is it that
no, no, no. This
you're
is not. I did not hurt my back reloading. I have two herniated discs in my back and
hmm
spinal stenosis,
hmm
and I take an anti-inflammatory every day and have since university.
hmm
And my back just goes out once in a while, it flares up, and it used to flare up like clockwork in the spring.
hmm
Like I mean, year after year, you could set your clock to it. I shot archery with a twisted sideways with a bad back more often than not in the beginning of my archery hobby. So, not related to reloading. I've been reloading down there on those benches for years, and this is just
But there's not
last
like a
Tuesday.
it's not a position you can change to make it more comfortable or anything.
No need, no need. It's unrelated. Like I said, I've been reloading down there for years without any problem. The pain that I was talking about a couple of weeks ago in my upper back, that's completely gone. Whatever that was has gone away.
Hmm.
Um, I last Tuesday I went out to mail an item, a gun, at the post office, and I don't know if I twisted it getting in or out of the truck because when I woke up that morning, I was 100% good to go. And it was shortly after I returned home from the post office that it started to go. And Wednesday and Thursday were brutal, and then it's gotten better every day since. Pretty much 100% out of the woods now.
Cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything that's strenuous on my back right now, so.
Someone has asked if I'm seeing a chiropractor, and I have. I've gone through this rant before. I've done physiotherapy, chiropractor, acupuncture. I've had my back go up when I was fat. I've had my back go up when I was skinny. There's absolutely nothing that speeds up the recovery process other than just staying active and maybe a little bit of yoga poses and ice. The ice knocks down the inflammation, which helps with the pain. I've done it all. It's just time. And the more you lay around, the longer it takes to recover. As much as it sucks to move, you got to keep moving.
Hmm.
So,
I've been doing a little bit of yoga just to
well,
stay a little
Christina
bit
and I were
limber.
gonna. Yeah, Christina teaches yoga at her middle school as an activity, so
Hmm.
we were gonna start, and then this happened. So now it's starting to feel better. I might start because it's definitely good for all your joints, right? And so, at one time, Adriel, I was getting ready for the provincials for archery, and my back went out. I was going to two chiropractors and acupuncture all at the same time. And then another time, I went to a pain clinic, and he gave me a shot of cortisone
Hmm.
right into my spine. They brought me into the ER. They gave me some Valium to relax me, and there he was with the ultrasound machine on my spine and jabbing the needle into my spine. That was on Wednesday. It was a 2-day tournament, Saturday and Sunday. I actually won the provincials because he shot me up full of cortisone. I was able to walk, and I went down. I won. I took my gold medal and I put it in a thank you card and I mailed it to him. Only in this town, there are two. Can't remember his name, but him and his father both have a practice, and they both have the same name. And I ended up looking up his address in the phone book, so I mailed the father my gold medal and a thank you card by mistake. So I saw him. He was an anesthesiologist the first time I got carpal tunnel done on my left hand.
Hmm.
So he's like, "Hey, you're the archery guy. I remember you." I was like, hey man, did you ever get my card, my medal? He's like, what are you talking about? So I sent you my gold medal. You fixed me up and I won. So I sent you my gold. I got all my gold medals, everything I ever won in archery hanging in my little man cave, except for that one. So he's like, no, you must have mailed it to my dad. I'm like, what? He goes, well, yeah, my dad has a practice too. We have the same name. And then I was unconscious and they worked on my hand. And anyway, so a year later, I'm back getting my right hand done. He goes, hey, Trevor, guess what? I've got the medal. My dad had it. He kept it. Forgot to tell me about it. He still had it. Now I've got it. All right, cool.
I think the thing I've learned from this story is that you won that medal while on performance enhancing drugs.
Correct.
Yeah.
I've always been on some sort of anti-inflammatory. So yeah, when I
Performance
went to the
enhancing.
World Cup, when I went to the World Cup, I had to get it. It's called a 2E2, something like that. It's a therapeutic exempt form that you have to get approved before you go. So you take it to your doctor. Your doctor fills it out. And anyway, I went through all this crap to everything has a DIN number on it. Even your soap has a DIN number,
Mm-hmm.
and those numbers are registered with Health Canada and other organizations. And somebody told me that the anti-inflammatory that I was on was not going to be approved, so I would have to get pre-approval with this 2E2 form. And we went through all the trouble and then found out that it wasn't actually on the list.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess just keep doing what you got to do to get through this.
Mm. Yeah. Well, like I said, it goes away.
Yeah.
Um, Jessica asked if I tried liquid collagen. I did not. You know what I do want? I want to give me some stem cells and just shoot my back full of stem cells. Joe Rogan on his podcast is talking about stem cell therapy all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Knees are shot, shoulders shot, torn rotator cuff. $10,000 later, injected full of stem cells, good to go. But not so much in this country.
Yeah. Sounds dicey.
Yeah, I'd do
Who
it.
cares? Yeah.
That's right.
Try everything. I think
People are
that's one
putting
thing. If you've got money, you can try everything. You can try
right.
like all the weird stuff.
You got money, you can be as healthy as you can afford to be. You have access to a whole world of healthcare that the
In the
poor's
U.S.
don't.
Yeah, in the U.S. In
Yeah.
Canada,
So
not so much. But you can travel
beta
to the U.S.
blockers. Yeah, beta blockers are definitely prohibited, Joe, especially in archery because they take your heart rate down and keep you relaxed, which is really important for archery. Be great for maple seed too. Beta blockers and maple seed, amazing. Fall asleep on the line.
Yeah.
Sardines is good too. Sardines will kind of have the same effect if you eat sardines before competition, or
I
so I'm
just like
told.
shoot hungover.
I've done that lots, and some of my best scores
Yeah.
were shot hungover.
Mm-hmm. That
Too
helps.
hungover to get worked up.
Yep. Just be like, I'm just gonna do the thing that's in front of me. I'm not gonna overthink it.
Yep. In the FCA Open, everybody throws their name in the hat, and you're paired up against anybody. So I was up against a guy. His name is Rob Cox, and I don't mind name dropping because he's a douche. So he's in a wheelchair, and when I beat him, he tried to guilt trip me. He's like, "You're gonna lay it down like that on the guy in the chair?" I'm like, "Dude, you're not shooting with your feet." I walked away. Like, uh, he wasn't really douchey, but he was a little douchey. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna make a bunch of ammo. And I don't know. After I'm done the 6.5 and the 308, what else can I reload for? Maybe 30-06.
hell yeah,
I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. I mean, I
I
could
loaded up 200. But hey,
crack out the. Oh,
cracking.
you know what I could do is a bunch of 223.
Yes, and that's why I need to get back to reloading because I also have 500 223 to load.
I got like
But
2,000 bullets and like god awful amounts of cases.
nice. How much powder you have? What are you using for powder for your 223?
Target.
Oh, a waste.
Hmm.
What a waste.
That's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's excellent, but to me, it's like too good for blaster 223 ammo. Anyway, I use 8335,
Mm.
which is like a generic version of what's in IVI 556 or Lake City 556.
Yeah.
and I load it to the Spear manual from back in the day. Like all the data's come down, right? We're nowhere near max in the manuals anymore. And Oliver told me 24 grains, and I was using 24 grains, and it was accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to stank it up a little bit. I wanted,
More power.
yeah,
Ugh.
make that 55 grainer go to 3,200 feet per second. It's supposed to go.
If it's not crunching, if you put the bullet on top and you put it in and it's not crunching,
Not enough.
you got
Keep
more
going.
room.
Yeah, yeah. There's more room
Yeah.
in the case. Please don't take us seriously right now, new reloaders. Always go with published data. But no, other Trevor brought me like a lifetime supply of 9 mil brass that he has his place. I haven't, Trevor. I haven't even carried it downstairs yet, Ben. I'm still working through all my own stuff, but it'll all be done.
What's a lifetime supply?
I could literally do a Scrooge McDuck, get in a tub, and pour it all over myself. Like I didn't think he had that much 9 mil saved up, boxes and boxes of it.
Sweet.
I forget where I was, but I arrived home and it was on the deck, and if I didn't pull it in right away, it'd still be out there. So anyway, I got it in. Now it's where the tire was sitting. I had a tire in the foyer for a while, and Kelly was commenting on that. Tire made it to the basement, and the brass took the tire's place. So yeah. Anyway, 26 grains of H335. But there's only one manual of all the manuals I have and or looked through PDFs and stuff where I was able to find it. And it was like a 1993 Spear manual, 26 grains. I haven't found it anywhere else since.
Oh, I wonder if Canada
Crosno.
Ammo still has that cheap ball powder or the Dominion Arms powder that they got.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. Shut up, Crosno. I don't even think Crosno ever met Trevor. You better, Trevor.
Yeah, he would have.
Oh yeah, he would have met.
Yeah,
He would have
yeah,
met him at the charity shoot.
yeah.
All right then, fine. At least he has some
Which Hodgson are you talking about?
H335.
335. I don't even think that's on their website for 55 grain.
Jessica wants me to make the McDuck video.
Oh, there it is.
Imagine diving into a pool of brass. How much that would hurt.
Oh, yeah. 23 to 25.3 on a 55 grain bullet.
23 to 25.3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's new data for sure. I'm up to 26. No pressure signs whatsoever.
20. Yeah, they're saying 25.3 will get you to 3,200 FPS.
Eesh, I wonder.
I wonder what you're at.
I should crony it for fun when I get on the ranges here. And
Yeah.
plus, I'm shooting it of an 18.6, right? So
These guys measure it off of a 24-inch barrel, so you're probably going to get less.
yeah.
Well, you might get 3,200.
That's right.
I get like right around 3,000 out of my 16-inch barrel guns, with most 223 or 5.56, 3,000, 2,900, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be cool to get 3,200, but yeah.
The Norinco stuff is 3,200. That I actually did crony. I think I cronied my 24 grain, or yeah, my 24 grain 55 load too, and that's when I was like, nope, I need to bump this up. It's probably like Captain Andy starts at max and goes up, and when he sees pressure signs, he stops and he finds the best load between the max and the pressure sign.
Okay, like I kind of do the same. I usually go like if it was 25.3 for a max, I'd be like 25. And I just make 10 of those, shoot them. What's the accuracy like? Good enough. Okay, make a bunch like that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am now. Like, yeah, like the ball 308 that I loaded for the M14 and the 308 Grand and the Stag 10. That's what I did. I looked at the manual. I went into the service conditions section of the Hornady manual. 44 grains, good enough. Called it good, and it shot good enough. Like, I'm more than happy with the accuracy out of the Stag 10 for that bulk ball ammo.
Yeah, and I mean, there has to be a difference between like match and like you don't have to make every round a match round.
I used to.
I used to too. I used to make like match hunting ammo.
But yes.
Like,
yeah.
What's the point? What's the point?
Why not? Something to do.
If you get one MOA, you're gonna smoke your deer from a ridiculous distance away as long as you can range it properly.
Yep.
Nothing. It does like Even the difference between like 1 MOA and 1.5 doesn't really matter that much.
Not really, but
No,
I just like what I love about reloading is that we can control all those variables, and we can make the ammo as precise as possible. Like you can uniform your flash hole. You can deburr the flash hole on the inside. You can uniform the primer pocket. You can use match primers. You trickle the powder in so every powder charge is identical.
you can make cheap ammo.
You can make cheap ammo.
Because the 6.5, like everything's getting more expensive, so all these components that I've had like hanging around, like oh, time to turn those into ammo because I don't want to go to Cabela's and spend $30 a box on 6.5 Creedmoor when I can make it for way less than that.
Denise got federal tap. You heard of that stuff?
Tap.
I think it's
Uh,
called tap. It's law enforcement ammo, typically
mm,
reserved for law enforcement. 223.
mm-hmm.
That's coming into the shop.
Sounds expensive.
I don't know if it's terribly expensive, but I mean,
I only shoot like 40 cent a round blaster ammo out of my ARs,
yeah,
so that's the comparison for me. But
yeah, this is premium duty
yeah, yeah,
ammo.
it's
So
probably like a heavier bullet on it too.
yeah,
Like for 3 gun, like some guys will run 55 grain stuff and they'll have a 70 or a 77 for the long stuff for the long hit shots. But then you need some.
yep,
Most people will sight the rifle in for the long stuff, and then the close
yep,
stuff. Who cares? The 55s will be close enough somewhere in there.
yep.
But then you got to remember, okay, this mag is the 77. This
Hmm.
other these other mags are the blaster ammo, and you got to
Couldn't do it.
mix
I
them
go
out.
77 across the board.
I go 55 and I just send two if I need to at that long range one, and it'll still make the
Mm,
hit.
yeah. Um,
It doesn't
223.
matter. It does unless you're going way out there. Now, one thing that the 77s do really nicely is you can hear them on steel way better than the 55s. So 55s
Mm,
don't have a lot of stank when they get out there. The 77s do,
yep.
and they make a nice
Oh,
loud schwack when they hit the steel.
the reason why the RCMP carry 77 grain hollow points
Is what?
because they're a lot more effective at range than a 55.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how far is the average like RCMP
Oh, I know what I
shot?
look at.
It's
Yeah,
probably
but if
probably like less than 100 yards.
that's right, so it's even going to be more devastating. Ain't no Geneva Convention here. No full metal jackets for these guys. They're carrying hollow points all around because if they're going to shoot you, they want you to stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I wonder if a 77 hollow point would do more than a 55 hollow point. They
I would.
probably both make a big mess.
I mean,
Hmm.
it's all about ballistics. If you and power factor, right? If you hit a piece of steel with a 9 millimeter pistol,
Hmm.
125 power factor, it doesn't matter if it was hit with a 115 grain bullet or a 147 grain bullet. If it's all things being equal and they're both shooting 125 power factor.
Hmm.
So if you get
Yeah,
that 55 grain bullet going fast enough, in theory, it should produce the same amount of kinetic energy as the 77. Yeah.
yeah. I guess the only difference would be if the 77 dumps most of its or a bunch of its energy behind the target, makes a hole on the way in, keeps on going through the back because it's got so much weight.
If it was a full metal jacket, I could definitely see that. But
I wonder.
jacket hollow
I
point's
wonder
going to,
what the wound depth is for 77 grain.
we sound like right now 9 versus 45.
I'm just curious. 77 grain. I wonder if anyone's done this. Uh, oh, fragmentation for 77 grain is greater. Bloody, bloody, blah. I don't want to do this on the air.
All right.
Yeah, but
Do you know what we can do on the air?
what's that?
We can, because it's already been almost an hour, we can go through the RCMP safe storage booklet and kind of beat it around and share our interpretations of it, reminding everyone that we are not lawyers. Nothing on Slamfire Radio is to be construed as legal advice. The show is for entertainment purposes only, yada yada, and so on, entertainment, so on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hashtag not a lawyer.
Not a lawyer, but we're gonna read the thing off.
Yes.
Yeah. You're gonna read the thing off? You gonna share your
I'll read
screen?
the thing off. I
Yeah.
do the sharing of the screen. Stand by and let me close all the porn sites.
Yeah. We'll leave the good ones up, just in the tabs, just so people know, what your taste is in.
Dun, dun. Just checking. I got a whole bunch of Facebook messages.
Weird.
Captain Andy's trying to sell me a trimmer. All right. Share screen. Gene, screen, share. There we go. Green button. Woohoo!
Yell at it a little bit more.
Share.
That gets it. Yeah. You have to say, "Okay, computer."
Share, bitch.
There we go.
Share. All right. So, safely storing, transporting, and displaying firearms. All right. These rules apply to individuals. There are different rules for businesses. It is divided into, excuse me. I had a pizza tonight, Adriel. A pizza.
It's coming
You know
back.
what's not keto? Pizza.
Pizza.
But I don't
It's
care.
probably tasty.
It was amazing. It was a pizzeria around the corner from me.
Ooh.
That I used to go to often when I was a fatty, until they just ripped me off one day with a really bad overpriced pizza. This was the pizza, the old school. It was amazing. It was a donair pizza. It was amazing. But I hate myself. I'm probably going to make myself throw up later.
Okay.
Okay. So first thing it says, of course, is unload and lock your firearms. Storage. Store the ammunition separately or lock it up. It can be stored in the same locked container as the firearm. That is the third thing said in this booklet.
But it's that's the baller way of doing this. Get a safe and put your guns and your ammo in the same place.
Exactly. Now, so if you have a non-restricted gun, it need only be A, unloaded, and B, trigger locked. The ammo needs to be stored separately from that firearm. If you do want to keep them together, they have to be locked up. So the firearm with a trigger lock in a case and a lock on the case. Non-restricted firearms. Attach a secure locking device such as a lock or cable lock, or remove the bolt so the firearm cannot be fired. Or lock the firearm in a cabinet, container, or room that is difficult to break into. Okay? So lock or cable lock, or remove the bolt so the firearm cannot be fired, or lock the firearm in a cabinet, container, or room that's difficult to break into. It does not say trigger lock it and lock it. It says or. Big black bold letters. Or lock it in a cabinet. So it's trigger lock or lock it in a cabinet, container, or room that is difficult to break into.
So if you've got it in a safe, you don't need to have a trigger lock on it as well.
Correct. And the same is true for restricteds if they're in an actual safe. I keep a trigger lock on my restricteds all the time because the very first thing I have to do when taking it out of the house is what? Trigger lock it. So there's no point in keeping the lock off at home. Unload non-restricted firearms can be kept unlocked. Sorry, let me read that again.
Unloaded.
Unloaded non-restricted firearms can be kept unlocked temporarily if they are needed to control animal predators in an area where firearms can lawfully be fired. Ammunition must be kept separate or locked up, or in a remote wilderness area, ammunition may be kept readily accessible. All right, so that's all your non-restricted firearms.
And that's strictly for storage because we're going to talk about transporting soon.
Yeah. Restricted and prohibited firearms, and they show pictures of handguns here. Attach a secure locking device so the firearm cannot be fired. Lock them in a cabinet, container, or room that is difficult to break into, or lock the firearms in a vault, safe, or room that was built or modified specifically for the store specifically to store firearms safely. So I built this room specifically to store firearms in. That's what this room was built for. Says who? Says me. That's what I built it for, right?
And it's not easy to break into.
No, exactly. It was built to be difficult to break into by having solid walls, not sheetrock, by having a steel door with armored hinges and a deadbolt and a
Mm-hmm.
lock, and this frame is steel and the door is steel. So attach a secure locking device so the firearms cannot be fired, and lock them in a cabinet, container, or room that's difficult to break into. Or, now here's the or again, lock the firearms in a vault, safe, or room that was built or modified specifically to store firearms safely. For automatic firearms, also, so on top of everything else you've seen so far, also remove the bolts or bolt carriers, if removable, and lock them in a separate room that is difficult to break into.
If I had
They
any
want the
full autos,
firearm.
I'd be super pissed about this because this is getting ridiculous by now.
Yeah, if you had a prohib, you have to store it with the bolt locked up
This
somewhere
is
else.
starting to look like Harry Potter's Horcruxes scattered around the world. Now,
Um,
you know what's interesting about this bulletin is that first bullet is seems like a lot that they're adding into that's not really necessary there. Like if you're gonna container or room or something like that or a cabinet,
mhm,
um, realistically, here in Canada, our gun cabinets are considered safes as long as they're steel and with a decent lock on them and whatnot.
yep,
It's a safe. So chuck your restricteds in there with no trigger lock in them. The only time you need a realistically speaking, you trigger lock and lock a container like a case, or I guess like a crappy cabinet maybe.
yeah. Like if you got a gun cabinet with glass doors, trigger locks.
Mm, but this is difficult to break into.
Well, glass is not difficult to break into, so
Yeah.
they're
So like
locked in there. But I mean,
that's the
they're
and though on the top there. On the top there it says and it's difficult to break into. And I think glass wouldn't actually qualify for that.
that's
So I
right.
don't think you could put a trigger lock on a pistol and chuck it into a glass cabinet with like a one of those key locks on the front where you can just smash it and take it kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, not a restricted and non-restricted, yes, but not a restricted.
But
So
the restricted you could lock with a trigger lock and put it in a little black container that has a little tiny little cable lock on there and that'd be
that's
fine.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, the case it came with.
Which is
Okay,
silly, but yeah.
so before we start the section on transporting firearms, keep in mind that this is the Federal Firearms Act. That's where these guidelines come from, and that your province may have its own regulations around the transportation of firearms in or out of the hunting season. Okay. Um, if I want to transport a non-restricted firearm in New Brunswick, I need to get a permit unless I'm a member of a club. Or if I'm hunting, I'm good. If I'm not hunting, according to the province of New Brunswick, I don't have a lawful purpose for transporting my property. And if it pleases the Crown, I would like a permission slip. So there's ways around this. You get a hunting license
Hmm.
or you join a gun club. And your gun club is actually your ATT for non-restricteds, believe it or not. So that's
Yeah.
why most people in New Brunswick get a varmint license and then it doesn't matter. All of this goes away. So it's ridiculous,
Hmm.
yes, but I bring it up so that the listeners understand that there are other laws that affect you other than the Federal Firearms Act. Your province has its own laws around firearms, often wrapped up in its Wildlife Act. So be aware of that. In New Brunswick, for example, my non-restricted firearm has to be cased unless I'm hunting. Federally, the only requirement is that it.
Unloaded. Yeah. Just unloaded is fine. You're freezing up, so I'll just take it from here. So, like in Alberta here, you can have a firearm in your car or truck or whatever as long as it's unloaded. It's fine. Let's see here. Sorry, you cut out there for a second, so I just took over.
Oh, sorry.
I was mentioning
Um,
that yes, in New Brunswick, you have to keep it cased because they have this
unless you're hunting.
uh, obsession with trying to stop poachers, and everyone who's got a gun in the bush has got to be poaching.
Yeah.
Whereas in Alberta, no such. So you can drive around with an unloaded gun in your passenger seat as long as it doesn't have the mag in it or it's chamber loaded, right?
Yeah. So federally, it need only be unloaded, but
Hmm.
then provincially, there may be extra things you got to be aware of. So, back to this document: transporting firearms legally, non-restricted firearms. Unload your firearms. Muzzle loaders can be kept loaded when being transported between hunting sites, but the firing cap and flint must be removed. Restricted and prohibited firearms. Unload the firearms and attach a secure locking device to the firearms and lock the firearms in a sturdy, non-transparent container and remove the bolts or bolt carriers from any automatic firearms if removable. Attain an ATT. Leaving any class of firearms in a vehicle unattended. Lock the non-restricted and locked containers carrying restricted and prohibited firearms in the trunk or similar lockable compartment. If the vehicle does not have a trunk or lockable compartment, put the firearms containers out of sight inside the vehicle and lock the vehicle. So take, for example, my 590 A1 Mariner. No trunk on my Silverado. So when it's left in the vehicle, it's in its case, it's trigger locked, and it's under the back seat. If you are in a remote wilderness area and cannot lock your non-restricted firearms inside your vehicle, unload them and put them out of sight. Attach a secure locking device to the firearms unless they are needed for predator control. Shipping firearms. We get this one a lot. Firearms must be unloaded, packaged, and shipped without ammunition in a safe and secure manner to prevent accidents and deter loss or theft. I kid you not. I was going to the post office in town here one day, and he goes, "Trevor, you've got to see this." He goes to the back, and he comes out with a rifle it's basically, it looks like someone gift wrapped the dog. You know it's a dog under the gift wrap. You could see the scope. It was brown paper and scotch tape.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, and the guy refused to take it. He says, "Send it back to the sender. I'm not taking that." I don't know that that's not.
Yeah, something's gonna break on it, right? The scope's gonna break, or something's gonna break
Yeah.
in transport. So you gotta return
They never
it.
should have accepted it at the post office at the sender's end, because Canada Post and all the shipping companies, if you go looking on their websites, have policies pertaining to the shipment of firearms. So make yourself aware of Canada Post's policies around firearms. Find out if it's a restricted. Do you need to get an ATT to take it to the post office? Do you need an ATT to take it from the post office home? Well, if it's not your gun anymore, it's not covered under your ATT that's your license. So technically, yes, you need an ATT to bring it to the post office. Once that gun is in your name, if you're receiving a restricted firearm, you do not require a ATT to take it home from the post office, because it's now part of the guns registered to you, which are now covered under your long-term ATT. So shipping, yes. Receiving, no.
Interesting though about the shipping firearms. Just unloaded, packed, and shipped without ammo.
Yeah, it doesn't even say anything about a lock.
No lock, no bolt disassembled, none of that stuff. Just
none of that stuff. And they don't distinguish here between classification. They don't say non-restricted, restricted, prohibit. They just say shipping firearms.
Now, I mean, one thing to mention here would be, like, this is a brochure. This isn't like the firearms code. This is just what the RCMP. Yeah.
This is the Reader's Digest version. The full law is in the Firearms Act, and there's more in there than this. Displaying firearms safely. Unload and lock your firearms. There are rules for displaying firearms in your home. Ammunition cannot be displayed with or accessible to the firearms. Non-restricted firearms. Attach a secure locking device to the firearm, or by my little thing here is in the way.
Yeah, I had to get mine out of the way too.
Yeah, I got it. Here we go. Lock the firearms in a cabinet, container, or a room that's difficult to break into. Well, that's really not on display, is it?
Yeah.
Restricted and prohibited firearms. Attach a secure locking device to the firearms and securely attach them to something that cannot be moved. So you want to display an AR-15, you can, but you can't walk away with it. If I've got a Lee Enfield that I want to display in my man cave, I can. I can put it on some hooks on the wall as long as
Mm-hmm.
it's trigger locked and there's no ammo around. It's good. I can do the same with a restricted firearm, but I have to cable lock that firearm to the wall or to the um, shelf or whatever. Ridgeback racks were a cool thing, man. They were like this laser cutout. Um, it was like the silhouette of an AR or the silhouette of a shotgun, and you would
Mm-hmm.
screw that to the wall, and your shotgun, let's say it was an 870, it looked like the silhouette of an 870, and there was a lock built where the trigger guard would go. So this thing would hold the gun to the wall, and it's trigger locked to that thing.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, it was very
Hmm.
cool. But they went under. I don't know why. They were quite popular, showing up on YouTube videos for reviews and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
For automatics,
Okay.
take the bolt out as well, and
Yeah.
bury it in a PVC tube in the backyard. I think is what they're saying here, or what they're suggesting.
Yes. So, all right.
Realistically, like, okay, so what do? I put all my stuff in a safe. Done. Don't need trigger locks on them. I don't have trigger locks on my restricteds in the safe because I don't have that many trigger locks. Well, I guess I probably do now, but that makes them more bulky. I've got like those little pockets in my safe and that kind of thing. So I prefer to put my handguns in there without a lock on them because they're in a safe. The safe's bolted to the wall and the floor, not going anywhere.
Yeah. You're worried about bulk. You could put these things on them,
Holy crap! No way, no way. Those are so inconvenient.
but they meet the law requirements. So,
Yes, yes. Um, and then transport, all I need to for 3 gun, I try to get as many guns as possible that are restricted inside the same container, so that
mm,
I trigger lock and I lock the container, and I don't have to
mm-hmm.
lock like a million containers and have a million cable locks going out to the range. So for 3 gun,
Nanook,
I have
baby.
one big case. It'll have my AR, shotgun, and pistol in it. Lock on the pistol and AR, lock on the case, good to go.
Nanook. That's the way to go. I keep all three of mine in the Nanook.
That's the nice way to go. Those Plano double rifles will hold your 3 gun stuff too, but not nicely.
No, Nanook. Nanook all the way. We sell them at DC Armory. Just saying.
And they're very nice, but
Yes, they're very
they're
nice.
pricey. They're
Yep.
an expensive solution. I'm pretty sure that Plano double case is $55.
Well, it's garbage. So,
I
don't
just
be
put a
the
couple
poorest.
little I put a couple little chunks of extra foam in between the guns where they might hit each other. Don't worry
Or
about
you
it.
could get a Nanook from our show sponsor, DC Armory. Wouldn't that
Could
be swell?
could
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. If you say
Cost me
Plano once more,
500
fucking
bucks.
stabbing you.
$500. How much?
No, they're
How
not
much more will
500
those things go
bucks.
for with the
I don't know.
cutout
I don't
foam
pay
in
for
it?
them.
Okay.
All right. Why don't you go through the comments, then we'll wrap this up. My phone died. I can't see the comments anymore.
Let's see here. Oh, Luke was mentioning about the caliber restrictions in New Brunswick. They only in effect next year in New
Yep.
Brunswick. So after that, I think you guys are pulling them off, which is one silly rule that you guys will have less of. Got a couple more that you got to get rid of, but I think they're working on it. Uh, Tim's saying, "Oh, mine shouldn't be standing in the corner loaded? Oh, I'd better change. Oh, wait, I live in a free country. Carry on." Yeah, the whole idea of like a home defense gun in Canada with these rules is it's pretty hard to do. Like you need to get to some ridiculous
Got to be
um
mag fed. It's got to be
mm,
non-restricted,
mm,
and it's got to be quick to access.
well, it doesn't have to be non-restricted. Like a restricted handgun and a loaded mag can be right next to it in a safe.
But it's yeah, but you might have to fight that fight in court about why it wasn't trigger locked
No, because it's in a
because
safe.
restricted. Yeah,
Restricteds
I
don't need
know,
to
but
be trigger locked
dude,
inside a safe.
let's pretend for a second you remember what happened to Ian Thompson. They will try everything and they will lie.
Hmm.
They said that the man's house was so small that he could never get the ammo far away enough from the gun to satisfy them. That's how desperate they got. They made stuff up like that.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm saying non-restricted.
that's the lowest risk option. Yes, lowest
Yes.
risk option is non-restricted mag fed. Not a
You got to
shot, not a
stack the deck in your
shotgun mag
favor.
fed because uh,
A pump action shotgun mag fed that works.
I disagree because the plastic shells left under tension in a mag will deform and not feed. And if you go to enough 3-gun matches, you'll see that those plastic shot shells inside a shotgun mag will deform just like that. If you leave them long enough,
There's nothing touching the plastic in this mag. It's all on the brass.
Oh yeah, you've got high brass stuff. That might be fine.
It's all about.
Yeah.
You got a plan for these things. Don't use garbage. What's that say? $4? I hope you read that, Mike.
Just in case you have bucks around your house.
If there are any bucks around this house, I would be really happy.
Yeah.
So, right ammo for the right gun and job and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and long story short, it's a pain in the butt in Canada. You're not going to get the jump on anyone who's like in your bedroom or anything like that. That's hard to see, but
that was a 45-70 300 grain. You also need to plan ahead for these things, right? Ensconcing, where you're going to go, moving the kids around, stuff like that. Like if you're on the second floor, you have a tactical advantage. They've got to get upstairs to you. You can yell from upstairs. There's nothing good up here for you. There's nothing up here but the misery and pain. There's just, you don't want what's up these stairs. You need to turn around and rethink all your life choices and get out of the house.
Yeah.
Go to church. Become a Christian.
Go back to Sunday school. Let's see what else we here. How many long guns can I legally carry in my Fiat? I think that's a challenge, really.
How many do you own?
How many can you stuff in there? It's going to be like, I think it was in the 70s where they tried to get as many teenagers as they could inside a car. It'd be like that.
Yep.
I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that's new. I don't think so. Yeah, Tim met Trevor and won that med kit.
Yeah, the bag, yeah.
Did you ever do anything with the NR rifle review forms people filled out? Yeah, I talked about it on the last Slamfire Radio, and I will do a full report of it when I get time and when there's a little bit more data. Because there's still people, I'm still seeing 20 to 50 people filling that thing in every day. So still getting lots of data on it, and I'd like to get as much as possible, because the more data you have, the more statistically significant those numbers are. Like if I have one person out of 4 that says that their rifle failed, that's not really statistically significant. I need 20 or 50 people per gun kind of thing.
Right.
Or as much as possible.
If anyone's looking for a Lee Enfield, I'm selling my my number 5 jungle carbine for $650 shipped. It's on CGN. Hit me up.
Cool. Anything else?
That's it, man. Wrap this bitch up.
Let's wrap it up.
All right. Oh, Kelly says hi, everyone. She was on another call and was unable to attend, but she loves you and misses you all.
There we go.
Except for you, Adriel. She doesn't like you.
I know. I just talked to her yesterday too, and the day before.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Like when you don't even have to, you still talk to her?
No, it was like Maple Seed call and this call over here. It's just like it has been
all
day.
Kelly all the time.
All
you
Kelly
can't get
all
away
the
from
time,
her.
or
there's Kelly now.
Oh, speak of the devil.
Yeah, speak of the devil, and she shall appear. We were just literally saying goodbye, Kelly.
Bye.
I was saying nice things about you. Adriel was throwing you under the bus.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was just telling the listeners that you were sorry you couldn't be here, but you said hello and you loved them and you missed them, but you had a thing tonight. And
hello, love you, miss you. I had a family thing, so I
didn't go into detail. I said you had a thing.
Yeah. So, which is important at this time of right now. It's important to not. Family is important. They are. So I'm going to tune in later to listen to everything that you guys talked about. What did you talk about?
We did safe storage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
We covered the booklet and beat it around a little bit and gave our interpretations of it,
which are not legally binding.
We are for entertainment purposes only. # not a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. No. But it's always better to be super safe as opposed to Loosey goosey.
Right? That's why I'm saying, Adriel, you want to lock those restricteds.
Trigger lock them in the safe.
If you shoot someone with an AR-15, like a hood rat during the boogaloo, they will go at you harder than if you did it with a deer rifle.
I like my WK-180. That non-restricted.
What?
No, it's gonna be the same thing, dude. Come on.
It'll be an assault rifle then. They'll say you shot.
Be assault rifles, and
no matter what. Yeah.
I'm gonna use one of them. I'm not gonna.
What they call my
let me go get my tube shotgun and do this the old-fashioned way. Like get a powdered wig while I'm at it, and maybe my muzzle loader.
Right.
Affix bayonets. Have at ye! Come down the stairs. No, AR. I'm not thinking around. Come on.
No, AR. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
not worth it.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, you literally did just join us as we were hanging up.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Kelly.
Good night.